Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited to be here today. Happy Friday. Today I am here with Alex Bynum. She is a spiritual guide, healer, teacher, Kabbalist, and initiated Celtic shaman trained and certified through the Modern Mystery School. With over 13 years of experience, Alex has helped thousands of people heal, get out of their own way, and discover who they truly are. Passionate about making the world a better place, Alex knows the best way to change the world is to begin with self. Alex currently owns and operates Empowering Path, located in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Alex, I am so excited for this conversation because you speak my language. My Facebook group is called She Got Out of Her Own Way, and I talk about like you can't be in relationship with others unless you're in relationship with yourself. So I am super excited to have this conversation.
I am super grateful to be here today. I love your energy. I've always loved your energy, and let's have a great conversation.
Yes, I know. Alex and I met a few months ago and we were instantly like, I need to know more about you. I need to be in your circle. So tell the listeners, like, I always love to start off with just like, tell us your journey, right? Because you
Oh
didn't
well.
graduate high school and be like, I think I'm going to be a Celtic shaman. I mean, maybe you did, but I find that that is not usually how it happens. So I'd love to just, talk us through your journey.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of my colleagues, they did grow up being like, I want to be a wizard or I want to be a healer.
I
I was
wanted to be a witch. I always wanted to be like Samantha or,
did
I
you?
Dream of Jeannie. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, but like Samantha from Bewitched, right? Like I
Yeah.
always wanted to be able to just wiggle my nose and have things happen. So I guess
I
I always did, but in a different way. Yes.
I used to love that show. But no, I never I'm from Tennessee, and being from Tennessee, I had no concept, no role model, no archetype of what a spiritual healer was. That was even a thing, energy heal. Like I didn't none of that existed for me growing up. It was I lived in the Bible Belt and that was my reality. And I grew up Catholic. And so there was no like, oh, I want to grow up and be a healer professionally.
Right.
I actually wanted to be a veterinarian.
Which
Um,
is a healer, right?
yeah, I mean, I just
Different
was
form.
always obsessed with animals.
Yeah.
But like life happens, trauma happens, things happen, and when I got to college, I realized like, oh, like I'm not sure I want to work with animals. I think I want to work with people. I want to like do something about the world because I had a sister and she was a human rights activist, and so she was constantly like telling me about what was going on in these third world countries and stuff. And it just really, I don't love the term like woke me up, but like
Right.
woke
It-
me up
yeah.
to reality and what was going on. So I ended up pursuing social work, and I was a social worker for several years,
Okay.
but I burned out like hardcore. It was a very stressful job. I was resettling refugees,
Oof.
and very little pay, very high stress, and I just completely burned out. And so after I burned out from that job, believe it or not, I had some friends in Boston. They had an extra like I basically couch surfed. I basically like moved up here and lived on their couch, trying to find my way. And then one day I met a guy that always wanted to be a wizard growing up, and he started telling me about energy work, and I tried it, and the rest is history. So
I
that was
love
kind
that.
of my initial journey to find this stuff.
Yeah, I love that. I probably had a similar initiation, if you will. I remember in my, I don't know, probably late 30s, early 40s, so I'm in Massachusetts as well. I went to Salem, Mass, and I picked up a crystal for the first time and felt like I had some kind of religious experience and didn't know what was happening. I was like, what is this?
I love it.
But I didn't have community. So it
Yeah.
wasn't until I was in my 40s that I was actually working with a therapist that incorporated energy work. And I was laying on her table one day and I thought I had my eyes closed and I thought, well, this is very awkward. Why is this woman rubbing my belly? And I opened my eyes and she wasn't touching me. And I was kind of like, all right, that shit's really cool. I need to know more about it. But at the same time, I was also in this search for friends. Like I was in my mid 40s and like, where did all my girlfriends go? So I found this women's group that was called Magic Parties. So the name right there interested me. But it was run by coaches. And 15 years ago, coaching was not like the
Yeah.
buzzword that it is today.
Yeah.
But there was a Reiki teacher in there and, different healers. So I started learning about the different modalities. And that's what kind of, I was like, all right, I was a very left brain logical person. So I was like, all right, let me go learn this Reiki thing. Right. And what I realized in my training was my mom passed away in 1991, so almost 35 years ago.
Wow.
And at the time, she used to go see, and I'm air quoting for those listening, a guy in New Hampshire that made her feel better. Well, when I was going through my Reiki training, I was like, oh my God, my mother was getting Reiki. Right?
Yeah.
Like, but nobody talked about that 35 years ago. But she was doing some kind of energy work, right? Like, there was some
Right.
guy that was making her feel better in
Yeah.
her healing. So,
Yeah. I think
yeah,
you hit the nail on the head though. Like one of the things that makes it more easier to find now or acceptable is there are these communities building. And like, I started this like almost 15 years ago. So it's like 15 years ago, there weren't really the
right.
communities we have today. And then it seems like since COVID, people are really looking for like healing
Something.
communities.
Yeah,
So, I love this podcast because it's just like, hey, communities do exist, and like,
right.
I think that is a much easier transition than like finding a weird guy or
Right.
hearing your mom went to a weird guy or something like that.
Well, I'll share something my background's in corporate and I left corporate in 2019 and I used to lead teams. And I was going through my healing journey while I was in corporate. So my staff knew that I did energy work, but my bosses didn't. Just because it never came up in conversation, but my staff would be like, I have a headache. Can you give me some Reiki or whatever, right? Um, About 2 or 3 months ago, an old boss of mine reached out to me on social media. He was a COO. So he was a chief operating officer
Awesome.
of a company that I worked for. He was like, hey, Francine, do you know anyone that does Reiki in my area? He's like, I've been really stressed lately and I've heard it's really good. And I was like, I don't even know what to do with this information. I'm like, this is amazing. I love this, right?
Yeah. Isn't it wild too how like you think the person that does yoga every day is going to be attracted to it and then they're not. And then you get the message from like the COO and you're like, wait,
Right.
like it's so wild who's drawn to it and who's
Right.
not.
And I thought I was hiding it too, right? But apparently not so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Um, so talk a little bit about the Modern Mystery School. So I've heard, the healing school I went to, we called it a mystery school. But like for the listeners who aren't familiar with the term mystery school,
Yep.
talk a
Yep.
little bit about what that is and what makes the Modern Mystery School
Yep.
so, special for you.
Yep. There's a lot of things that call themselves mystery schools. There's seven ancient mystery schools. So the school I study with is an ancient pathway of know thyself. And so we say the beginning and end of all spiritual development is the ability to truly know thyself as the light. So it's, I always tell people it's just removing what's not really you, the programming, the trauma, the ego, like these things that aren't really us, but we think are us is really the path of progression or a path of growth. And so the modern mystery school is based on it dates back to King Solomon 3,000 years ago, but it also dates back to Hermes like 8,000 years ago. And so it's kind of, it gives humanity like these pure healings before religion got involved or before, humans took over and morphed it. So the healings are very pure. It's a very pure lineage. When you receive the healing, you feel that connection to the light, and it's like a light switch goes off, and you kind of like start to remember who you are. And so that's what I really value about it. Oh yeah, like I remember that I am the light.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. What led you to the Modern Mystery School, and how did you know this was your path?
So I had done Reiki. I had done
Reiki's like the gateway for everyone,
Reiki's the
right?
gateway drug.
Yeah.
I did some breath work, also a good gateway drug.
Yeah.
But what was different for me about the mystery school was really just the energy of it. Like I went to a meditation class and I had meditated before that wasn't outside of my understanding, but I was sitting in the meditation class and I was like, there is something distinctly different about the energy in this room and I cannot figure it out. And that drove me crazy. And then also like, where's this energy? Like, what is this lineage pulling from? Like, where is this healing light coming from?
Mm.
So that's initially what drew me to the mystery school in particular. And then I received a healing called the life activation. And once I got that healing, I was like sold because it was like Reiki on steroids. It was
Yeah.
very powerful. And I was like, okay, like I want to learn more. I want to know what just happened. Like, what is this? So that was my journey.
Yeah. You want to share with the listeners a little bit about the life activation, like what that is and what they could expect in a session?
Yeah, so life activation, I kind of call it like the reset session.
Mm.
So it kind of just resets your energy field. And it uses like a shamanic wand and a couple of crystals and stones. And it basically infuses what we call the spiritual DNA with light. So
Okay.
what it does for people is it really helps if you're out of alignment in different areas of your life. It's kind of like bringing someone back to themselves to help them to move forward. So
Nice.
it's really that initial taste of like, this is who I am, this is what I'm here to do, and like really helps to like start to begin to open doors for people or close doors for people in terms of their purpose and their unique journey.
And that's an in-person healing, correct?
Yeah, almost all the mystery school
Yeah.
modalities are still in person,
Okay.
which some people value, and then some people that live far away can get frustrated. But yeah.
Right, right. And is the life activation a one and done? Do you do that multiple times or how does that work?
Life activation is a one and done session, but it
Yeah.
is a path of progression. So usually people will progress to other
Other
healings after
healings.
the life activation. Yeah, there's so many modalities. There's modalities for emotional healing. There's modalities for people trying to, we have like a drug detox series for people that have abused substances. There's aura healing. I mean, everything you can
Okay.
think is in the lineage. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. How did your own healing journey really shape the way that you guide and teach others today?
Because I really I would say I really have gotten to the point where I've sat in front of so many people and I've witnessed myself through my own healing journey where I just don't judge anymore. Like I
Mm,
just, there's just, you think, um, someone's sitting in front of you and I'm sure this has happened to you and it's just wild when you hear their story. And so I've
right.
just heard so much. And personally, I've like been through so much that it's like, um, it really I'm a very like compassionate healer and I seek to understand the person and I really what is it that's going to serve this person, what modality, what can I give to this person to help them go to their next level.
Nice. I love that. And I
Yeah.
know that you truly believe that people can heal anything.
Yep.
So I'm curious, what have you witnessed that reinforces that truth for you? And can you talk, I love this conversation too. The emotional component attached to physical, ailments and what have you, and healing the emotional piece can heal the physical. So, there are going to be some people that are going to be like, that's not true. I have a whatever, right? And
Yep.
somebody who's been on their own healing journey lately, I'm like, okay, I know that this is a result of what has, my past. But let's talk a little bit about that you can heal anything.
Yeah, when I say that, there is like the caveat, like you have to be relentless in the pursuit of it.
Right.
So some people are like, oh, I did one healing that should heal my
Right.
borderline personality. Like, no, that takes a little bit of work.
Right. Right.
But yes, I firmly believe you can heal anything. For myself, I've healed eating disorders. I've healed a thyroid condition, which most people don't heal that condition. So I've worked through a lot. And then, like you were saying, I've seen a lot. I've seen someone overcome borderline personality disorder. I've seen someone, let's see, I mean, I can't say this medically, but I've seen people that, that really wanted children that now have children, like
Mm.
using these modalities to heal the trauma in their bodies. Um, I mean, I feel like I've seen it all. I've seen people walk away from choosing, abusive partners and like making different choices for their life, or there's just so much. And I'm sure you see that sometimes in your world too.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
when people commit, like if you commit to the healing process, like you can be unstoppable. So
Right. I love that.
yeah, yeah,
What do you say to someone who maybe feels broken or hopeless and really doubts that they have the ability to change?
yeah. I would say honestly, like you're just very confused about who you are. Uh,
Mm.
like you're very like there's a there's a misalignment there. There's a misunderstanding of who you are because like your spirit can't be broken. You are the light no matter what happens in this life. Like you you might be feeling far from the light, you might be feeling hopeless, but it doesn't mean the light isn't there. And like one of the things that's funny is like the ego tricks us all the time to think that we're alone.
Right.
Like we can't really be alone because the light is always with us. And I know that sounds probably woo woo and yeah, sure, Alex, but it's true. It's like, did you did you give up on God, or did God give up on you? Like,
Mm.
and so it's really just like understanding the self and where you're putting blocks in the way, or where your trauma's getting in the way or something like that.
What do you think is the biggest barrier that keeps people from stepping into their own healing power?
Well, I'd love your take on this too, but I think it's fear. Like I
Mm.
think people are it's one of my teachers, it's like you're actually more afraid of knowing yourself as the light than you are of like your ego, or like you know your own stuff, but
I'm
knowing
looking,
yourself as the light is can be a lot scarier for people.
I'm actually looking up because I emailed myself this morning after meditation. What came to me in meditation was honor the fear.
Oh, that's great. There you go.
So I emailed myself that because I was like, oh, you got to write something about that. Because what came to me was I was actually feeling a lot of fear. And
Mhm.
so often we want to dismiss that, right? But
Mhm.
all it is information,
Yep.
right? It's just information. So what came to me was honor it, right? Because all it's there is to tell me where my edge is right now, right? Like what's next for me
Yeah.
because I'm feeling it, right? So I was doing this. It was actually like a nervous system reset meditation off an app, and I could like just feel like the heaviness in my chest and my throat, and I was like, "What is this?" Oh, I'm like, "Oh, this is fear," and I just heard honor the fear.
Wow. Yeah. Or like
Because
what's that popular book? Feel the fear and do it anyway, or whatever.
right, right. And so often, I work with women who are addicted to busyness. And I talk about different forms of addiction, right? We can be addicted to food, alcohol, drugs, and busyness. And at the end of the day, all they're doing is keeping us from feeling whatever feeling is coming up. If
Mhm.
I stay busy enough, I don't have to feel the fear. I don't have to feel the fill in the blank, whatever it is,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And if we allow ourselves to honor it and just be in the discomfort, we recognize that nothing bad happens, right? Like the fear is just a feeling. It isn't actually anything happening to me, right? Because when I was
Right.
in it, like one of my mantras is right here, right now, I'm okay. Right here, right now, I'm fine, right? The fear was really more about the future possibility versus what was actually happening in that beautiful meditation,
Right.
right? Or
Yeah.
what has already happened.
Yeah. And that fear, like the fear is an indicator that you're onto something good. Like
Right.
you're like, oh,
100%. Right.
right. It's like, oh, there's my indicator. There it is. There's my
Right.
symbol that I'm like headed the right direction.
It's just information, right? And it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be anything other than just, oh, pay attention. This is just
Yeah.
something for you to pay attention to. And you don't have to respond to it. You just have to be aware of it so that you can not run from it or hide from it. Because the more you do that, I believe, the more we resist it, the bigger it's going to show up.
Well, yeah, and the more I always say it's like the more power you give your ego. So it's like, the two wolf story, like which wolf do you want to feed? It's like, do you want to feed your light or do you want to feed your ego? Like, yeah.
Right.
And a lot of people are terrified of, or just, have to build the courage to really step into their truth. Because
Yeah.
usually when you start to step into your like truth and power, then that's going to create some shifts and change in your life, right?
Yeah.
So,
And it's so interesting. I mean, I know I've experienced this myself where I'm much more aware of the voice, right? The ego being like, you're this, you're that. And I'm like, oh, hold on, hold on, hold on. But in the past, it was just fact. Well, the fact is I can't lose that last few pounds. Oh, the fact is I couldn't do that. Oh, the fact is like it was fact. And it wasn't until I was working out one day at the gym and I spun my head around and I saw this like little creature and I was like, who are you? And it was like, it was never supposed, you were never supposed to see me. And I'm like, what's happening right now? And it was just this inner critic, this voice, but it was so connected to me that it was just truth.
oh, yeah,
And it wasn't until like, I moved faster than it did and we were face to face when I went, oh shit, that's not actually true.
that's one heck of a workout.
Oh my God, right? And picture me. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm in this tiny little gym in an office park, and I'm like, what's happening right now?
One of my favorite ego tricks is like, when those voices are getting loud and be like, okay, so if you tell me that one more time, then I'm just gonna lose the weight because, just like talking
F
back.
you, right?
Yeah, be like, okay, all right, if you keep beating me up, well, here's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. And it while the ego is not a bad thing, it's there to protect us, but it also I do a lot of inner child work with my clients, and I've done some IF internal family systems work myself, right? And there's all
Yeah,
the parts of ourselves are there. They're not bad, but they're there because you needed the protection at one point, but it doesn't know that it's safe now. So it's the
right,
retraining of it, right?
right,
Like, thank you for being XYZ, but I'm okay. Right? I'm
right,
an adult. I'm a big girl. I'm okay. I don't need you to protect me anymore.
right, right, because those mechanisms came on when we were much younger.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I actually saw something powerful the other day that I don't know if it's fully true or not, but it's like when you react to something, like you react at the age that it happened. So like, when someone gets triggered and then they like blow up, it's like, oh, like their 5-year-old self is like going,
Right.
it's not their like true self standing
Yeah.
in their, it's like,
I,
oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna out my husband right now. He
Okay.
we just had a little we had a similar conversation. I was like, "So what age do you think you are right now?" He's like 7. I was like, "Okay, just so you said that this, I made you feel like this, and I'm just gonna say, remember this happened at 7." He was like, "Mm-hmm, yep, okay." I was like, "All right, so maybe you just go figure that out right now."
Oh my gosh, I love it. That's amazing.
Right? But like even
It's
myself, like even if you don't know what happened at that age, right? Like I had a situation recently. I was like, I don't know, like I'm feeling I'm 8, but I don't know what happened at 8. And I don't need to know. I just need to know my 8-year-old self needs a little bit of love right now.
hmm hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a lot of people think they have to know exactly what happened to heal. I'm like, you don't, but you just, that feeling is within you, and that feeling is what, you want to work with and address. You don't have
I'm
to
not gonna lie. Sometimes I need to know, and I'm like,
know.
okay, if
Everyone
you just tell me
wants
what
to
to do, I'll
know.
do it.
I know, but I'm like, you don't need it. But yeah, no, people definitely want to know what happened, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's 100% necessary to heal.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't always need to know what happened, but I need to know what to do to fix, if I'm air quoting,
Yeah.
fix it, right? Like tell me what to do and I'll just do it.
Yeah.
And it's like just in the being, in the trust. And that was kind of what came up in my meditation today. I was like, oh, we're back at this trust and surrender place. Okay, we've done it before. All right, we're gonna have to figure out how to do it again here, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's the trust and surrender are lifelong journeys. So
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
What do you think are some practical ways that people can start recognizing this negative talk, right? Because it does tend to run the show. And until we become aware, until I'm at 6 o'clock in the morning and seeing this critter, right? Like I didn't even realize it was negative talk. It was just fact to me. So
Yeah.
what would you say to people that don't even realize they have this?
I mean, honestly, it's what you've been talking about. It's what I teach is meditation. Like I think that's
Mm,
it's the original personal development tool. It's
right.
been around for thousands of years. You sit and you observe the thoughts and you're like, isn't that interesting that I'm telling myself I hate myself today? Like, like it's like, well, where is that actually coming from? So I know people struggle with meditation. Some people don't like meditation, but a lot of people don't like working out and they work out. So
Right.
it's like finding that love for yourself to just meditate so you can start to get a grasp on what's really you and what's not you.
I would say most of my clients, if not all of them, will say to me, I can't meditate. I have a hard time. My brain doesn't shut off. And my response to them is, if your brain is shut off, you're dead. The
Yes,
goal of meditation is not to
yes.
necessarily shut your brain off.
I know. I always tell people that. I'm like, so, yeah, they're like, well, I just can't have any thoughts. And I'm like, yeah, please don't, because that would not be good.
I committed a year ago to meditate every day, and I think I'm almost at day 350. So I've almost hit the year. And I
That's
don't know
really
that
good.
I've ever had a day where I've just been like, what? Right? Like I still have thoughts. Like my brain is still really active. But what I've noticed is my days are a little quieter, right? Like it definitely, even if some days it's just a 5 minute meditation, because that's all I have time for, it has made shifts in the long run because
Right,
it's a practice, right?
right, definitely. Yep,
It
yep.
is. And I love how you compared it to working out, right? Because it is one is for your physical your physical well-being and the other is for your spiritual well-being, and they both are really important.
Yeah, and I always tell people like the reason we meditate is so we have more control, basically, so you have your power with you and you're not just reacting to everything around you all the time. And it's like even
Right.
if you do like a moving meditation, that's better than nothing. Like go for a walk in nature, like do
Yeah.
something. But it's like I don't like how, you know, punchy or reactive I get if I'm not meditating. So if I just take 5, 10 minutes and meditate, then, I can have more just more autonomy over myself throughout the day.
Yeah, I love that. I know you're really passionate about hope for humanity. So, what gives you hope right now, and how can others, um,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. What gives me hope right now is we're seeing what's not the light, to be honest with you. And a lot of people are freaked out by that, and they're not. A lot of people are upset about the world, or I think something that makes me cringe is people say, "What's the point?" And I'm like,
right,
"Oh." But I get where it's coming from, and like that, like feeling of hopelessness. But I'm
yeah,
like, guys, this is an exciting time. Like this is exciting. Like we're seeing like what's not of the light. There's more light coming in on the planet. Like we're going through a shift, but it's like the shift that we want.
right.
And maybe people think that sounds totally crazy, but for me, that's the reality that I'm seeing. And yeah, it's like, the light workers, you, me, like community, like let's unite. Like this is an exciting time. So I know it might feel scary. We talked about, or you might have a lot of fear about the world right now. Not you, Francine, but
Right, right, right,
your
right.
audience, your audience. But yeah, this is an exciting time. So I have a lot of hope for humanity. I think we are headed in the right direction, and I'm excited about, I don't obviously I won't be alive in 100 years, but I'm excited about the world that um, the light workers are leaving behind.
Yeah. For people who aren't feeling a lot of hope right now, what would you say to them, and what's something they could do to maybe shift that?
I'd probably say get a life activation so you can feel the lights, or
Yeah.
do some light work, get a coaching session with you, do something to bring in the hope again, bring in the light again, so
Yeah.
that you remember, and then you can start to shift out of that fear.
Yeah, I love that. What
Yeah.
shifts have you seen in others that maybe remind you that change is possible on more of a collective level?
On a collect Well, so I was talking about someone this morning, and when I met him 20 years ago, it was a long time ago. I met him a long time ago. I met him 20 years ago. He wanted to be the next Tony Robbins. He wanted to impact the entire world. He wanted everyone to know who he was and all that. And what we talked about was like when you help just one person, and you probably experienced this too,
Yeah.
Francine, like when you help that one person, you help everyone connected to that person.
Right. It's so
So in a
true.
way, you're having the impact you're hoping to have, but like your ego is maybe not seeing that. But like there's that effect of, I helped this one person, which means I helped a ton of people by helping this one person.
Yeah.
Um, so I totally already forgot your question, but that was
No,
what
that
came
was a
to mind
beautiful,
was
yeah.
yes.
But that was, and it made me think of, I've had conversations with clients where maybe they've struggled with their partners who aren't doing some of the work that they're doing. And we talk about ways that they can show up in that relationship. And then they'll come back to me on the next call and be like, oh my God, they responded like this, right? Like their partners then responded differently because they showed up differently, right? Like
Yeah.
even if the people around you aren't doing the work, when you hold your light, it's like that, that picture that's always on social media of the little people, like it's like this cartoon character, and it's the person is of light, like half light, half shadow, and like everyone on the shadow side is shadow and everyone on the light side is light, right? Like when you hold your
Oh,
light,
right.
everyone around you, right, feels it. So people respond differently, right? Because if
Right.
I'm still in my wounding and in my trigger and I'm like, Alex, you did blah, 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 right? Versus Alex, I really feel this today, right? You're going to respond differently because I showed up differently.
Yeah.
And yeah. And so I
But
always love hearing those stories.
yeah, misery does love company. I will say that, but there's definitely more joy when you there's definitely more fun and more joy on the other side. So,
I used to have a woman that worked for me that had a fair commute to work,
oh
and
boy.
and she was always sitting in traffic. So she would call me and she'd be like, "Oh my God, these people are crazy." And they're blah, 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 blah. And I'd be like, "Enjoy your ride. I'll see you when you get here." And it used to drive her crazy. And we had dinner recently, and she's like, "Oh my God, you used to drive me crazy." I'm like, "I know, because you wanted me to get in that with you. You wanted me to be like, I know, don't people drive horribly?" And
Mhm.
like, what difference, like, how would that have really helped either of us, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
enjoy the ride.
yeah, one of my goals is to be like a master of redirection towards like the light, So
Yeah.
like somebody says something and like being a master of a redirection.
Yeah. One
But
of the things, I think one of the first spiritual books I listened to, read, was I'm pretty sure it was Wayne Dyer,
nice.
where, yeah, right. He talked about, traffic being one of the things, right? If you're in traffic, is it because maybe you need to arrive somewhere late to meet the person of your dreams or to avoid the accident, or right? And that always, right? Like I always look at the bigger picture, right? Like I love Carolyn May's Sacred Contracts, right? Like when I think about there's a bigger picture, it always makes me pause for the little piece, right? Like, why am I in traffic? Maybe, one day, about a year ago, my husband and I were going somewhere, and we were driving, like we put the GPS on, and it had us go a back road to get to the highway. And we were like, this makes absolutely no sense. Why
Right.
wouldn't we go direct? But we were like, whatever. And we saw a white squirrel. Now, white squirrels are very rare and they have a really cool spiritual message, right? And we both were like, what just happened? And we were like, wow, we would have missed that had we decided we were smarter than the GPS,
Yeah. You're
right?
very yeah, you're very psychic. My spirit animal is a squirrel, so
Is
that's
it? I love that. I love that. I love that.
I was hoping for like a tiger or like a jaguar, but no, it's a squirrel. So,
Yeah, my first one that came to me was a giraffe.
oh, cool. That's cool.
And his name was George, and I was like, come on, really? And it was like, my name is George. And I was like, oh, like I wanted some cool name, right? But I was like, all right, George. Hi.
Yeah, no, I totally relate to that. I was,
Welcome. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm a ferocious squirrel, so it's all good.
Right. I love that. I love that. If every person made one could that's listening, let's start with that's listening, could make one internal change today, what would you invite them to do? Or what would you want that to be?
I would say look in your mirror, look in your bathroom mirror, look in your rear view mirror, look in something, and just tell yourself you love yourself. And
Mm,
look yourself in the eye, and it might be hard, but I would really recommend that practice to create an internal shift for yourself. It
yeah.
also really helps with the negative ego talk that we were talking about earlier. But if you can look yourself in the eye for 1 minute a day, just saying it once a day, 5 minutes a day, and just tell yourself you love yourself, that will create a huge internal shift.
I love that. For someone who's listening and, maybe they are feeling like they're meant for more, they feel stuck, what would you say is some the next step, even if it's small, that they can take to start to feel less stuck, feel more expansive?
I totally get this question. I've just always been someone that really wanted to know what my purpose was. Like, it almost was like, I can't be here if I don't know what my purpose is because it doesn't make any sense and life is hard. And I just like need to know what I'm doing here. So I can really relate to this question. When I look back and remember that time in my life, I had a life coach, kind of, I know you do coaching.
Yeah.
And that man said to me, Alex, if you ask yourself every day, what is my purpose? You are going to get an answer. And
Mm,
I did not believe him at the time because I was panicking about finding my purpose. But literally, I think, questions are a gateway into, finding what you're looking for. And then also, you probably tell your clients this as well. It's like you got to follow the breadcrumbs. It doesn't all come at once. Like
right.
you got to take the step. You got to do the little things that um, lead you to where
And
you're looking to go.
purpose isn't always a job. And I
Yep.
think that's important, right? Because I think often people think they're one in the same,
Right.
and your purpose doesn't always mean it's something you're going to get paid for, right? Like
Yep.
it's who you show up as, it's who you are at your core. And
Exactly.
you bring that to what you do. Like this is kind of some of the work I do, right? Like who are you being and how do you bring that to what you do? But your
Hmm.
purpose isn't always, like your purpose is an amazing energy healer, right? There's a deeper purpose there, but you get to bring your purpose in what you do, I would imagine.
Right. But I think the goal for all of us, like our purpose is to just be ourselves. But what does that mean? And I think that's
Right.
the journey we have to go on. Like, who are you?
Yeah.
Um, so yes, what I do, right, is facilitate these amazing modalities, but like that's not who I am.
Right.
So, working with that.
Yeah. What's one truth that you wish every person understood about themselves?
Oh man, these are crazy good questions. One truth. Oh man, I wish I had known this one was coming. I think it would just be that you are the light and like at your
Mm,
core, and it kind of what I was talking about earlier. It doesn't matter what's happened to you, it doesn't matter what you've been through, it doesn't matter how awful you you feel like you've messed up your life or whatever. It's like at your core, you are the light, and really taking the time to understand that, and it will free you in a way that I haven't really been able to see anything else create that level of freedom for people.
I love that. And I always love to end with this question. What is one thing you live by every day? Or doesn't have to be every day, but one thing you live by that you want to share with the listeners?
One thing I live by, it's like if you feel off, this is probably what I live by the most. Like the greatest, it's just like I live by the philosophy of helping others. So like,
Mm,
you're having a bad day, help someone. Give you feel like no one gives to you, then give something to someone else. Like you feel um basically gift what you need is a good way to put it.
I
Like
love that. Gift
if
what you
you
need.
yeah,
That
like
could be
if
the
you
name
need
of this podcast. Gift what you
if
need.
you if you need kindness, gift kindness. If you need
Yeah.
light. If you need respect, gift respect. Like there's I think that's probably one of my biggest philosophies I live by.
I love that. That's beautiful. I know you have a giveaway for the listeners. Do you want to share with them what that is?
Sure. So every Thursday at my office in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, I teach meditation class. I teach the Max Meditation System, which is phenomenal for beginners or advanced students. And I am offering first class free. You just use the promo code Seacoast on my calendar. And my website, you'll probably put it in the show
Yeah,
notes.
but go ahead, share it.
It's empoweringpath.com.
Perfect. Oh, and for me, I want to share with the listeners that if you're ready to stop spinning and really move forward, I have a new program called The Stuck Stops Here. It's my 5 session experience to help you begin to get out of your own way and really get into aligned action. The link will be in the show notes. And if you use code podcast, you'll receive 20% off that program. So that'll be in there too.
I,
Oh my
I
gosh,
love
Alex,
I
what's
love the
that?
name of that program. That's
I
great.
know. I can't even take credit for it. I'm in a mastermind group and I brought to them this program that I wanted because I'm not really good with like that creative. And one woman said it and I was like, that's it. Thank
That's
you. I'm
awesome.
stealing it. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll send you the royalties. I know. I loved it too as soon as she said it. So I pull cards at the end of every podcast, and I have 3 cards in front of me. We're pulling from the Colette Baron Reed Guides of the Hidden Realm Oracle. So I have left, center, and right. And I'm going to invite Alex and everyone else to just take a nice deep breath and just choose which card speaks to them.
Let's do left.
All right. Ooh, full moon eclipse. Removing internal obstacles, confronting self identity, intensity.
Oh, I am a very intense person, so that does work.
I love it. These cards, every time I pull them, I say this at the end, they're always somehow in alignment with the conversation that we've had.
Yeah, because I think we've talked about, how you remove the stuff so that you can be yourself. So
Right,
the big,
right.
yeah.
If you chose center, the card is surrender to the change. The art of
Oh,
allowing, resilience, adaptability. What a
nice.
beautiful card, too, right?
Yeah.
And if you chose right, listening to the ancestors, inherited patterns, traditions, integrated wisdom versus knowledge. We didn't talk about how a lot of the stuff, I would imagine a lot of what you also heal with clients are ancestral patterns. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
We didn't talk about that. Alex, this has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Yes. And for the listeners, have an amazing Friday. All of the information for both Alex and I will be in the show notes. And have an effing Friday.